Hey, good day to everybody. Welcome to another episode of Andrew's Life. Right now, I'm currently driving through the town of Chesterfield, Indiana. Chesterfield, Indiana's got a population of 2,499 people. The population density, or people per square mile, is 1,812 people. It is 52 minutes outside of Indianapolis. And for those of you that might have teenagers getting ready to go to college, or just for the sake of wanting to be not too far away from a larger community, Chesterfield, Indiana is 21 miles south of Muncie, Indiana. And again, Chesterfield is basically a smaller community, obviously. I mean, it's relatively quiet. The neighborhoods are very safe and quiet. Now, housing here in Chesterfield isn't too expensive at all. However, there's not a lot of homes around this area that typically go up for sale too often. Because here in Chesterfield, Indiana, Chesterfield, Indiana is a fairly high demand place to live right now. I mean, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are leaving the larger city, or they're leaving even bigger cities. I'm sorry, I can't even fucking talk. But anyways, you got a lot of people leaving these larger cities, even some of your smaller cities, and they're moving to smaller towns such as Chesterfield, Indiana. So around here, whenever there's a house that goes on the market for sale, typically it might stay on the listing for a few days, and then someone typically will come by and purchase that property, especially right now with the real estate market being the way it is. So FYI, if you want to buy a house here in Chesterfield, Indiana, or in any smaller community identical to Chesterfield, Indiana, my suggestion would be to you is, matter of fact, as I speak, there's two houses. Well, there's one house right here for sale right now. I'm gonna turn this van around and show you guys the property. Yes, indeed. But yeah, anytime a house around here comes up on the market, typically it doesn't stay on the market for real long. Typically people will grab it up fairly quick, because this is a very nice, quiet, smaller town. I mean, it is a very desirable place for many people to live who want to live here in Indiana. Well, I thought, well, let's see here. Here's the property that's for sale right here. Actually, it looks like it's more of a commercial building. It's not even a house, it's a commercial building. So, my apologies. But for those of you that might want to come out here and start some kind of a business, it might be a property of some kind of interest. I mean, the population here in Chesterfield, according to data, is still shrinking. I mean, the growth rate is still negative, but I don't really see that being a negative for real long. I would say in the next year or two, the growth rate out here in Chesterfield, Indiana will become a positive growth rate. Well, you know what? We're in luck. Looks like, let's see, what's this? That's roofing. That's not a for sale sign. Guess we're not in luck. But anyways, like I was saying, it's going to be very rare, especially in this housing market, but a house in this town is going to come up on the market for sale. Especially for lower than $50,000. Now, for those of you that are making less than 40 grand a year, I mean, if you do find a home out here for sale that's within your price range, like, you know, I'm just going to emphasize over and over and over and over. Make sure that you don't take out a mortgage for any longer than 15 years. And bear in mind that the average millionaire pays off their home in 10.2 years. Now, this is a nice town to live in. It's very quaint. And right now, as far as housing being for sale, I've looked on the MLS for properties out here for sale. I even went as high as $100,000. And at this particular point, I've seen not one property for sale here in Chesterfield. Not one property at all whatsoever. And right now, I am driving through the downtown area of Chesterfield. Now, Chesterfield being so small, the downtown is going to be very small. Now out here in Chesterfield, they do have a pretty good sized state park. I mean, you know, during the nicer weather, during the summertime, it's a beautiful place to go. They got plenty of trails, plenty of room for the kids to play. I mean, there's plenty of room for people to picnic and cook out and have family reunions and all that type of stuff. So they do have a nice big park here in Chesterfield. I mean, you know, if you come here to visit this part of Indiana, make sure that you allow a little bit of time out of your trip to go to that park. It's the only state park here in Chesterfield. It, like I said, it's a big one. You can't miss it. I mean, where I'm driving right now, this is the older part of this town. This is where a lot of your lower price houses are going to be located, if any does come up on the market for sale. out here in Chesterfield, Indiana, I would feel confident to say that the probability of finding any kind of a fixer-upper out here is going to probably be slim to none, because if one did come up, it would probably be on the market for maybe a day or two, and then somebody would come and grab that shit up. I mean, shit, I know I would. I mean, living out here, hell yeah. I mean, this is a nice little town. It really is. Nice low population. Nice low. I mean, let me get my notes out here. The population density is 1,812 people, which is not the lowest in the world, but I mean, what I like about this area is it's nice and clean. People tend to take pride in their drilling. The yards are well kept for the most part. Now, granted, this particular part of Chesterfield is not where your lower price housing is not where you're gonna find lower price houses. But I would say, in general, even in some of your neighborhoods where you will find cheaper homes, I mean, for the most part, the areas are fairly well kept. I mean, there's not a whole lot of riffraff in any of these neighborhoods. And those are just some of the basic characteristics that I like about this town. Now around here is where a lot of your older houses are located. I mean, yeah, I just kind of took a little detour, I guess, just for the fun of it. Well, here's one property that's up for sale. Evidently, it must not made an MLS yet. It's this beauty right here on the corner. I'm gonna back up so y'all can see what I'm talking about. I mean, this house right here on the corner is what I'm talking about. It's the first house I've seen for sale so far here in Chesterfield. I mean, maybe they just put the sign up like, I don't know, yesterday sometime, and the realtor may have not gotten around to putting it on the MLS quite yet. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, you look around this area, which is clearly the older and lower priced part of town. I mean, you're not going to be seeing a whole bunch of garbage in the yards. You're not going to be seeing people hanging out on the corners. You're not going to be seeing people walking the streets with their pants hanging off their nuts. I mean, basically out here you got solid, hard-working people that live out here, and for the most part appear to take care of their shit. See, there's the back of this house that's for sale that I showed you a minute ago. It's a pretty good sized house. It's got it appears to have a partial basement. Here's an old church here on the corner. You know, nothing special, nothing fancy here. You know, just a basic looking building. And like I always try to do on my videos, I mean, like, you know, I don't have the time to drive through every nook and cranny of any of these communities, even the super small ones such as this one. So, you know, basically what I try to do is I try to drive through a variety of areas. That way, for those of you that are viewing this, can get a, I guess, broad idea of these communities that I go visit. And then there's days where it's like real sunny, and there's certain areas that the sun is hitting the area so much that if I were to drive through that area, you would see nothing but a bunch of blur because of the sun. But yeah, out here in Chesterfield, I mean, I like it out here. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, if the right property came up on the market here and I had the money, I would probably grab it up in a second. I'm not even gonna lie. Now I just driven by the Baboon Buffet, which basically they serve Chinese food. Now I've been there a couple of times, and I would say that place is at best okay. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the biggest fan of Chinese food, but that place, I mean, they're okay. I mean, I've had better tasting Chinese food than what they serve. So if you're here in Chesterfield, Indiana, and you want some Chinese food, that's the place to go. That's here in town. And as I say, their food is okay. I mean, that place serves okay Chinese food. Not the best in the world, in my opinion. Just thought I would share that piece of information. Alright, people. I'm approaching the half-hour mark here. I'm getting real close to it anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this video, and I will see everybody on the next video. Everybody have a blessed one.